The fire is already lit. Sit down, breathe, and listen. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to hate you even when you only show them kindness? You bend over backwards to help them. You're always there when they need you, yet they treat you with contempt, dismiss your efforts, or even actively work against you. That night, by the flames, Jung revealed something that would change everything you think you know about human nature. Most people believe that kindness automatically breathes kindness in return, but Jung's decades of research into the human psyche revealed a disturbing truth. Your kindness might actually be triggering their hatred. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand the dark psychology behind why good people often finish last, and more importantly, how to protect yourself from becoming a victim of your own compassion. Jung said something that most people find impossible to accept. Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. But what does this mean when you're trying to be kind? Here's the shocking reality Jung uncovered. When you consistently show kindness, patience, and understanding, you're not just being nice. You're holding up a mirror to their shadow. Your kindness becomes a constant reminder of everything they believe they're not. According to Jung, the shadow represents all the parts of ourselves we've rejected, denied, or hidden away. It's the collection of our flaws, failures, and dark impulses that we don't want to face. And here's what's disturbing. When someone encounters your genuine kindness, their unconscious mind doesn't think, "What a wonderful person." Instead, it whispers, "This person is everything I'm not. This person makes me feel inadequate." Jung discovered that this creates what he called shadow projection. They begin to see you as the enemy, not because of what you've done, but because of what you represent. But there's more to this psychological phenomenon. Jung said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And your kindness forces people to confront parts of themselves they'd rather keep buried. When you're consistently kind to someone cruel, patient with someone irritable, or understanding with someone judgmental, you're essentially showing them a different way of being. Your kindness threatens their entire concept of identity. Jung discovered that most people operate from what he called the persona, a mask they use to fit into society. This persona is often built on being right, being strong, or being realistic, which usually means cynical. When you show up with genuine kindness, you're operating from your authentic self, not from your persona. This creates a massive problem for people trapped behind their masks. Your authenticity makes their persona seem false and hollow. According to Jung, they can't admit this to themselves, so they have to make you the problem. But here's where it gets really twisted. Jung discovered that people often attack the very qualities in you that they secretly wish they had. They'll call your kindness weakness, your patience stupidity, and your understanding naivety. Why? Because admitting your strength would mean admitting their own limitations. This is what Jung called projection. Jung said, your vision becomes clear when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. But what happens when your awakened state threatens someone else's dream? Here's what Jung discovered about human development. Most people are sleepwalking through life, following the crowd, doing what's expected, never questioning their patterns. When you show up with kindness, especially consistent kindness, you're demonstrating what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming your authentic self. And this threatens people who haven't done their own inner work. Jung said,
Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. But when your kindness irritates people, what does that reveal? Here's what Jung discovered. Healthy people appreciate genuine kindness because they're not threatened by it. Unhealthy people are threatened by kindness because it highlights their own issues. And here's the game changer Jung realized. When you have strong boundaries, you can be kind without being a target. But there's an uncomfortable truth Jung revealed. Sometimes people hate your kindness because it's not actually kindness. It's a form of manipulation. Jung would say you're trying to control how others see you by being good. This is what he called the helper's neurosis. When you're kind to get something back, approval, acceptance, love, you're not being authentic. You're performing kindness. And people can sense the inauthenticity. Jung discovered that true kindness requires boundaries. When you're kind without boundaries, you're not being kind. You're being codependent. This is what Jung called differentiation. You remain yourself while allowing others to be themselves. You don't absorb their emotional baggage. You don't try to fix them or save them. And this transforms everything. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And one of the most unconscious patterns is the victim-rescuer dynamic. Here's what Jung discovered about this toxic cycle. Many people who experience hatred for their kindness are trapped in what he identified as the rescuer role. They unconsciously seek out victims to save. But this creates a dynamic where the victim eventually resents the rescuer because the relationship is built on inequality. But here's where it gets really dark. Jung realized that when you consistently show kindness, you're not just being nice, you're demonstrating emotional wealth. You're showing that you have something to give without needing anything in return. According to Jung, this triggers what he called archetypal envy in people who feel emotionally bankrupt. And here's the dark part. Jung realized that envy doesn't just want what you have. It wants to destroy what you have. Jung discovered that envious people will test your kindness. They'll push boundaries, make unreasonable demands, and create situations where you're forced to say no. Then they'll use your eventual boundary setting as proof that your kindness was never real. This is a calculated, though often unconscious attempt to reduce you to their level. If they can't have your emotional wealth, they'll try to rob you of it. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. And being who you are means developing what Jung called emotional sobriety. Just as an alcoholic needs to stay sober around alcohol, emotionally healthy people need to stay sober around emotional manipulation. When you're emotionally sober, you can see clearly when someone is projecting their wounds onto your kindness. You don't take it personally because you understand it's not about you. Jung realized that emotional sobriety doesn't mean becoming cold. It means being kind without being naive. Jung said, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. And what you choose to become determines how your kindness is received. Here's Jung's final wisdom. People don't hate genuine kindness. They hate the threat that kindness represents to their ego, their persona, their unhealed wounds. Your job is not to make your kindness palatable to wounded people. Your job is to ensure your kindness is genuine, boundaried, and comes from a place of strength. That night, watching the flames dance, the final truth was revealed. When you understand that their hatred of your kindness is about them, not you, you can choose how to respond. You can be kind without being a victim. You can be authentic without being a target. That night, I understood everything. And since then, whenever the world weighs heavy, I return to the fire. See you soon.